Thanks for staying with us. So Professor Attahiru Jega made an interesting statement yesterday concerning rotational presidency. He was saying that we don't necessarily need rotational. What we need is a competent leader for this country. And that stirred up quite a bit of conversation. Do you agree with him? Do you think that what we need is competence, not necessarily rotational? So do you agree with Professor Jega that maybe we shouldn't be thinking of ethnicity at this time? Or should we say that, no, we must first of all cover all grounds before we now start thinking of competence? Let me come to you. Topa, you want to start?
Yes, I don't agree with him at all. And I know that he's entitled to his opinion considering how involved he's been in our democracy, or maybe because of the privilege of position he had to be at INEC chairman for a while. But I don't agree with him. I believe strongly that, yes, competence and corruption is part of our problem. But also, another key part of the problem of Nigeria is equity. The fact that some people feel like they are non-entities in the country. The fact that they feel like they are nobodies in the country, that their opinion does not count in the country. Those are your weak points. So even if you have a competent person, as long as people feel like I can never aspire to become, because the geography and the way the country is divided, the vote would always favor this set of people, then we are not one.
The fact that someone is saying that rotational positions, doing like the zoning, is not the best way to go. It's not specifically saying to a region that because of that you should not be part of the government. That is not what he's saying. So for me, I agree with him, and this is the reason why. I find that wherever a government is doing so well, people really do not question who you are, where you're from, who you worship, who you sleep with. They don't care, as long as it is working well. But when things start to go wrong, that is when they start to, split hairs. And it must be because he's a Christian. No, it's because his mother is a Muslim. It's because his children don't school here, But when things work, people people are more encouraged to just, want the things to work better.
The financial rotation has been on ground since the inception of our nationhood. It was one region as the president, one region as prime minister. It was shared. Another region as a finance. It was shared. And then it was always been like that because there must be equity. I agree with you sentimentally. If you look at it from the book points, the most competent hand should be at the helms of affairs. All right, but when you come into Nigeria and you come into over 60 years of some people feeling injustice, sadly, the bad example of what happened in Plateau State will be what we'll be using here. A lot of people in this region will complain about this statement because all the other people have gotten their own turn. When is our own turn? You're not saying equity. This is not the time for equity. So let us continue.
There's a part of, okay, so if it is this person's turn, her own group is also there. Edo is there. Plateau is also there. Other regions say, okay, after the Southeast has passed, it is now my turn. Where do we draw the line?
The real solution is restructuring. If there is a proper restructuring, there will be less
Exactly. We have a structure we are trying to revert to now.
Yes.
This structure was our original structure. You mentioned, let me clarify on this. The Prime Minister was from a region. It was a balanced form of government.
Yes.
In every government, you had balance. Today, what do? They do a democracy that appointments across agencies, appointments across bodies on one side. So I agree with you. But if we had maintained the structure at the time, I'll be confident living in the Midwest. I don't need any other area to live in because if I farm and eat in the Midwest, I will have dignity.
So people are being killed or they feel that they are being discriminated against because they do not get justice. The reason they feel that way is because they are not getting justice.
Yeah.
So you now get people detractors who come in and say, you're not getting justice because you're from this place or because you worship this God. The truth is that the only reason why you are not getting justice is because those at the helms of affairs who are supposed to make sure that you get justice are sort of dragging their feet. Or because of political positionings or whatever it is, they're not doing that. So when things do not work out right, then you have people distracting you with things like religion and ethnicity. And in Nigeria, it happens all the time. You see someone who is seeking for office, and he has looked around and he thinks, what can I do so that I can get more votes in this side, Ghana more support in this side? He looks at it. They see how the politicians also work. They'll go to the north and talk about religious differences. They'll come to the Southwest because they can't talk about religious differences. They'll look for ethnic differences. So that is what that shows you that is not what it's about. It's about incompetence and corruption. If that is what we face, we will find out that we have no problem with whoever it is that is pushing the cause of Nigeria and meeting our needs.
But there's a word that Tope used earlier, which I would like us to go back to: equity.
Very important.
Yes, we hear what you've said, but where does equity come in? Where everybody who have felt marginalized. So we're trying to fix a problem, right? So we agree it should only be somebody competent, but in fixing the problem, the parts that feel marginalized, shouldn't they be allowed to
like,
have ownership?
After you finish eating your piece of cake, you now say, everybody, this remaining, we must share it equally. But you finish eating your own piece of the cake, like you finish eating it. Yes. You can't eat your cake and have it. People will just complain.
About who is at the helm of affairs. It's just one man that we need as president.
Yeah. Must go round.
Equity cannot be about that. Even in our 60 years, share it by 4 years. It's still one man that we need. Equity is about equal opportunities for people,
everybody.
The larger number of people from different areas that they are from.
So every time someone is going to feel marginalized, and the person will feel marginalized if they just do not feel that their needs are being met, they are getting justice. So what is important is just to push for justice and make sure that what is healthcare, education, all opportunities are available and open to these people. Simple.